Hey everyone, welcome back to Rerum Cognitio channel. Today's topic is one that's as vast as the cosmos and as intimate as your own thoughts. Existentialism and freedom. Ever pondered the meaning of your existence? Wondered about the purpose of your life beyond societal expectations? Well, you're not alone. Today, we're delving into the philosophy that challenges the very core of these questions. If you've ever found yourself lost in the labyrinth of your thoughts, questioning the choices you make and the path you're on, then existentialism might just be the philosophical companion you've been searching for. Existentialism isn't just a big, intimidating word thrown around in philosophy classes. It's a lens through which we can explore the depths of human existence. Think of it as a roadmap for navigating the twists and turns of life, emphasizing individual freedom, choice, and responsibility. In the realm of existentialism, existence comes first. Unlike a predefined essence or purpose, existentialists argue that we exist first and then create our essence through the choices we make. So, grab your metaphorical thinking hats as we embark on a journey through the existential landscape. We'll be discussing the giants of existential thought, think Sartre, karmas, but first things first, let's break down the basics. What exactly is existentialism? And why does it matter in our quest for freedom and meaning? Stick around, and we'll unravel the mysteries together. Existentialism champions the idea that we are fundamentally free beings. But what does that mean, exactly? It means we have the power to shape our own destiny, to carve meaning out of the seemingly chaotic canvas of existence. One of the central tenets of existential thought is that existence precedes essence. In other words, we aren't born with a predetermined purpose or meaning. Instead, we have the incredible freedom to define ourselves through our choices and actions. This freedom can be exhilarating, liberating even. It's the feeling of standing at a crossroads, knowing that every step you take shapes the person you become. Think of it like this: life is an open book, and each decision is a stroke of the pen. Existentialists argue that we're not bound by fate or external forces. We are the authors of our own narratives. Now, this may sound empowering, and it is, but with great freedom comes great responsibility. Existentialists believe that with the privilege of freedom comes the burden of responsibility. We can't escape the consequences of our choices. This is where authenticity comes into play. Being authentic, according to existentialism, means owning up to our choices, facing the consequences head-on, and not hiding behind societal expectations or external influences. So, my fellow thinkers, let me ask you this. How do you navigate your own sea of choices? Do you revel in the freedom to define your essence, or does it sometimes feel like a daunting responsibility? Existentialism invites us to embrace the uncertainties and complexities of life, recognizing that our choices are the building blocks of our individuality. Now, let's delve into the concept of authenticity and understand why it's the key to unlocking that freedom. Existentialists argue that true freedom goes hand in hand with authenticity. But what does it mean to be authentic? Authenticity, in the existential sense, is about being true to oneself, about living in accordance with your own values rather than conforming to societal norms or expectations. Think of it as a rebellion against the pressure to fit into predefined roles. It's about embracing your uniqueness and living a life that reflects your genuine self. In a world that often nudges us to follow the beaten path, existentialism challenges us to carve our own. To be authentic means confronting the discomfort of going against the grain, of embracing the uncertainties that come with being true to yourself. It's not always an easy journey. Authentic living involves acknowledging our vulnerabilities, accepting our imperfections, and facing the anxiety that comes with the freedom to make our own choices. Existentialists argue that authenticity is the antidote to what they call bad faith. Bad faith occurs when we deceive ourselves, conforming to societal expectations at the expense of our true selves. Picture this. How often do we wear masks, figuratively speaking, to fit into social roles or meet others' expectations? Authenticity calls us to remove those masks, to be genuine and true, even if it means facing judgment or disapproval. Now, here's a question for you, my fellow thinkers. How do you define authenticity in your own life? Have you ever felt the pull of societal expectations, and how did you navigate it? Existentialism invites us to reflect on these questions, to cultivate a deeper understanding of ourselves, and to navigate the complexities of authenticity with courage and self-awareness. Now that we've explored the philosophical landscape of existentialism, let's bring it closer to home. How can we apply these profound principles to our daily lives? Existentialism isn't just a lofty theory, it's a philosophy that invites us to actively engage with our lives. So, let's break it down into practical steps, shall we? First and foremost, let's talk about choices. Every day, we're faced with a multitude of decisions, big and small. Existentialism teaches us to approach these choices with intention. Consider your morning routine, for instance. Instead of going through the motions on autopilot, ask yourself, why do I choose to start my day this way? What values am I expressing through these actions? Existentialism challenges us to bring mindfulness to our daily activities, whether it's the way we work, interact with others, or spend our leisure time. Each choice is an opportunity to express our authentic selves. Next, let's talk about relationships. Existentialists emphasize the importance of genuine connections. In your interactions with others, strive for authenticity. Be present, listen actively, and share your true thoughts and feelings. Think about the people in your life. Are these connections authentic, or do they stem from societal expectations? Existentialism encourages us to foster relationships that align with our true selves. Now, let's tackle the concept of responsibility. Existentialists argue that with freedom comes accountability. In your work and personal life, take ownership of your decisions and actions. Consider your career choices. Are you pursuing a path that aligns with your passions and values, or are you following a predetermined script? Existentialism challenges us to shape our careers in a way that reflects our authentic selves. Lastly, let's touch on embracing uncertainty. Existentialism acknowledges the inherent unpredictability of life. Rather than fearing the unknown, view it as an opportunity for growth and self-discovery. Think about a situation in your life that feels uncertain. How can you approach it with courage and authenticity? Existentialism invites us to see challenges as invitations to define ourselves. So, my fellow thinkers, as you go about your day, consider these practical steps: mindful choices, authentic relationships, taking responsibility, and embracing uncertainty. These are the building blocks of a life shaped by existential principles. As we wrap up our exploration of existentialism, let's turn our attention to some common criticisms and diverse perspectives surrounding this intriguing philosophy. Existentialism, like any philosophical school of thought, is not without its skeptics. Let's address some of the common criticisms and open the door to different viewpoints. First up, one frequent criticism is the perceived pessimism of existentialism. Some argue that it dwells too much on the uncertainties and challenges of life, painting a bleak picture. But here's a different perspective. Existentialism isn't just about acknowledging life's difficulties, it's about embracing them and finding meaning in the face of adversity. It encourages us to define our purpose in a world that often seems chaotic. Another criticism often raised is the focus on individualism. Detractors argue that existentialism neglects the importance of collective identity and societal connections. However, consider this: existentialism doesn't negate the significance of social bonds. Instead, it emphasizes that authentic connections are formed when individuals bring their true selves to relationships. It's about quality over quantity. Existentialism has also been criticized for its apparent lack of a moral framework. Some claim that without a set moral code, individuals may justify actions that are harmful to others. Yet, existentialism encourages personal responsibility and asks individuals to define their own moral compass. It trusts that, given the freedom to choose, individuals can navigate the complexities of ethics with sincerity and authenticity. Lastly, existentialism has been accused of being overly abstract and disconnected from the practicalities of everyday life. Critics argue that it's a philosophy for the ivory tower, not the real world. But consider this perspective. Existentialism isn't divorced from reality. Rather, it provides a lens through which we can make sense of our experiences. It invites us to apply its principles to our daily lives. As we discussed earlier in this video, we've journeyed through the philosophical realms of existentialism, exploring the boundless freedom that comes with our existence and the profound importance of living authentically. Now, let's bring it all together. Existentialism invites us to recognize that our lives are canvases waiting to be painted with the brushstrokes of our choices. Freedom, as we've learned, is not just about the absence of constraints. It's about the power to shape our own destinies. It's about standing at the crossroads of life and deciding which path to take. But with great freedom comes the responsibility to live authentically. Authenticity is the compass that guides us in this vast landscape of choices. To be authentic means embracing the messy, unpredictable beauty of our individuality. It's about peeling away the layers, removing the masks, and revealing our true selves to the world. Existentialists argue that authenticity is not a destination, but a continuous journey. It's an ongoing commitment to self-discovery and a refusal to settle for a life dictated by societal scripts. So, my fellow thinkers, as we stand at the intersection of freedom and authenticity, let me leave you with this question. How will you wield your freedom? How will you navigate the dance between authenticity and societal expectations? Existentialism challenges us to be conscious architects of our lives, to embrace the uncertainty, and to find meaning in the very act of creating our own essence. As we wrap up our philosophical exploration, I want to express my gratitude for joining me on this journey. If you found value in our discussion, don't forget to hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more mind-expanding content. Remember, the canvas of your life is yours to paint. Embrace the freedom to choose, live authentically, and craft a story that is uniquely yours. Until next time, stay curious, stay true, and keep exploring the wonders of existence. This is Rerum Cognitio channel signing off. Take care and let the journey continue.